Hi, everybody. Okay, so happy Tuesday. It is June 2nd today. Oh boy. Okay, so I was really worried starting yesterday that Y&R was going to kind of fold after the wonderful May we had, but boy, did it not disappoint. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little differently than I usually do. I usually talk about the storylines and the person who really stuck out to me and yada yada yada. Okay, I'm still gonna do that a little bit, but I feel like I have to change it a little bit for today because um I feel like two people at a time made me really think about things as far as the where it's going and everything. Okay, and I don't know if you can tell, but Y&R made me emotional today, so bear with me a little bit. Okay, so I wish I could do a hashtag that says all, but I don't know if I can do it because everybody pulled their weight today. Okay, now when I say it reminds me of teams, okay, here's what I'm talking about. Um, okay, so Courtney Hope and Mark Grossman, which is why Mark Grossman is my hashtag because boy, can that man act like his ass off. Okay, now for me, it felt like I was stepping into Mark Grossman and Courtney Hope's real life a little bit, like this much, because I feel like they were having a conversation you would have with somebody after you broke up with them, but you still want them to do well in their life. Okay, because they were talking about the fact that they were the characters were pregnant with the Ava, and they lost Ava, and how she felt bad because she was pregnant again, and then she was scared because she was pregnant again, and then he said, "No, you shouldn't feel like that because you should be able to feel joy about it." And I literally cried. I mean, not buckets, but I cried to where I needed a tissue, evidence tissue. Okay, now, um, for her part, Courtney Hope was excellent too. Okay, oh boy. Okay, then we have the scene with Roger Howard. I really thought that when he was getting his memory back, I said, "Oh no, he's gonna turn into like Matt again, and like I don't know, the bad Matt." And I'm like, "Oh no." And but happy to report. Okay, now I can give you a visual. I can give you a visual representation of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so imagine Roger Howard in the middle of the room, and Sharon Pace, Tamara Braun, and the one who plays Noah, and Nick were all in the circle-ish thing, and they're waiting for him to do something. They're waiting for him to rage. They're waiting for him to say something, do something, whatever. So then he starts, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like holding on to my chair, and he says, "I'm so sorry." And he busts out crying, and I'm like, what? Huh? And then, then the director should get an Emmy for this. They pan over to Joshua Morrow, and that boy can act his ass off too. Okay, because he, he had a combination in his face of what, like so angry and yet confused at the same time. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so then he leaves the room, right? Roger Howard leaves the room, and everybody's left going, what? That's not the Matt we were used to. What happened to him? And then he says, Nick says to him, follow me. Then he tells Noah, don't follow me. Stay with your mother and Sienna. And I'm like, oh boy. So then he leads into the gym of their house. Okay. And just leaves them there. And I'm like, what is going on here? Okay. So then meanwhile, uh Phyllis comes by to check on Nick, right? And she runs into, because the only one home is Victor. So then she has a scene with Eric Braden and Michelle Stafford. Okay. And Eric says to her, okay, you can come in. And then she's like, whoa. You can tell she's taken aback, right? And she says, well, I just want to check on Nick because I'm worried that the hospital releasing too soon, and I want to make sure, like whatever. And um, uh, Eric, Victor says to her, "Well, you're part of the reason my son is still alive, so thank you for that." And I'm like, "What?" And then, okay, here's the coup de grace scene of the pair of the, I don't know, week, month, maybe year. Okay, so Eric Braden and Roger Howard are in the same scene. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so what's going to happen? Is Eric gonna like take him down? Or are they going to do this like tennis match? Or, like, where, what I mean by that is, okay, sorry, I'm so excited. I forget to explain my terminology here. Okay, now, for me, there are two types of acting styles. There are probably a million, but for me, there's like two, maybe three. Okay? One is where one person just gives a lot of dialogue and the other person kind of responds. Then there's the kind I like. Number two, called the tennis match, which is one person says something and the other person has to rise up to the level and like hit the tennis ball back, and it's like bam, 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 bam. Okay, that was the scene with two greats. It was so great. I can't even describe it to you. Okay, like I'm gonna try to do it justice here, but just let me tell you, it was 10 times whatever I say here. Keep that in mind, okay? Because Eric Brain says, okay, so what, like, you saved my son's life, but that doesn't excuse everything you did. So what do you want me to do? Then Roger Howard says, please let me live. And then Eric Braden says right away, okay, so now you're begging for your life. And Roger Howard says, well, no, but yes, but okay, I don't want to do anything to hurt you or your family, but please just let me live and I'll prove it to you. And Eric says, and I'm supposed to believe you? It was like, pip, 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 pip. I was so happy. Words cannot explain how happy I was. Holy, wow, that was good. Boy. Okay, so good news on the front. It means they're going to do something with the Matt character. And also, maybe the character of Victor is softening a little bit. But believe you me, even if he softens, he's not going to turn into Jello overnight. So, but man, total kudos all around. Wow. Okay. Bye, guys.